Hello! So I'm just going to do a little video about my Logic Session color coding. Probably something that if you're not already doing when you're mixing and making music in Logic or Pro Tools, it's a good idea to start doing it. Especially if you're working on multiple projects and need to work fast, you know, muting this, turn that up, whatever. This speeds things up. Okay, so I'm just going to switch views. So here's my session, which is a new track I'm working on. It's at the mixing stage. I've just imported a new load of vocals. So the way I structure my sessions pretty much all the time is the first tracks at the top will always be vocals, so lead vocals, double vocals, harmonies, etc. And I always make them red. They stand out the most in the session, and that's, you know, in my mixer at the bottom. If you scroll across, you know, I can always spot the vocals really quickly because they're bright red. And then I move on to anything like backing vocals, harmonies. I put them in the same kind of category of red, but a bit darker. So because they're not lead vocal, they're a bit darker red, so they don't confuse me that they're the lead vocal. And then moving on to drums. In this track, the drums are next. They're all MIDI drums at the moment. I haven't put them into audio, but they are in yellow, because with drums I always like them also to be very vivid, very stand out, because a lot of editing goes on and moving around with the drums. I keep them really bright. And then I've got some claps here, which are another form of yellow. So things like percussion, claps, shaker, I always keep them in the kind of hue of yellow. Moving on to bass, this is where it gets alphabetical. So B for bass, B for brown. And then guitars, green, G for guitar, G for green. Starting with acoustics in this one, which are a nice light shade of green. And I move darker with electric guitars. So there's some fuzz solo guitars here, which are even darker green still. So they're all green, they're all guitars, just changing the tone of the colour to kind of match the tone of the instrument. Then I've got moving on to synths, which are not colour-coded based on alphabetical. What's the colour that begins this? But they're purple. Purple's a kind of spaced out colour, you know, futuristic if you like. So I make all my synth parts purple. If I have things like piano or actual keyboard sounds, not synthesizer sounds, I'd keep them in the same kind of pink purpley thing, but I go more pink than purple. So the same category of colour, but just not as purpley. And then in my mixer at the bottom, it's still a little bit messy at the moment, but we've got some, all these tracks here are the new vocal sessions, so I'll be making those red. These are the old ones, so they're red. And then the vocal bus along here is also red. Kind of that process works. I've got the keys there, and I've got a drum bus, and then obviously they're colour matched to what's going on in the session. So as I'm doing mixing, I can just quickly mute things, solo things, adjust the volume and automation. Yeah, it really speeds up the session. Hope that's helpful. If you are doing this kind of thing, this makes everything a lot easier. Cool. Bye.